Hello everyone, this is Tomiwa Dada and welcome to the Babes of the Most High Relationship Talk Show. As you all know, we are in the season of love. We are here to talk about love, relationship and marriage. And to my right hand side here, I have this beautiful couple, Adesola and Daniel Ikezue. You're welcome here on the show. And to my left hand side here is Sarah Omole, that's my baby girl. And Adetomiwa Damilola, it's good to have you on the show here today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Without wasting much time, so we're just going to go into the questions we have for these amazing people here in the studio today. So Adesola and Daniel, this is coming to you first. So question number one, like you've been married for 3 years, I'm sure.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years, okay. Okay, so what do you think singles should stop obsessing about when it comes to marriage?
If you ask an average person, let me just use a woman for example, what she's looking for in a man, they'll tell you someone that's tall, dark and handsome. Yeah, but that's, I don't know why.
Yellow people cannot do with their lives.
Tall, dark and handsome. Yeah. So I think the problem is that people are not prioritizing the important things that they should look for in a spouse. So that's the major issue, why people are not, looking at the right things before, picking the right partners. Because those things are not necessary. While it's important to get someone have someone that's attractive as a spouse, because, it's important. But at the same time, the fact that someone is tall, dark and handsome is not the reason your marriage is going to last. It's not the reason why it's going to thrive. It's not the reason it's going to be something that you guys are going to enjoy together. So the major problem is people are not prioritizing the right things for what to look for in a spouse and a partner. I will give my husband to continue.
Yeah.
Everything really about the whole idea of marriage, because marriage has been sold to us, particularly in our generation, as one fanciful thing. Until you step in, then you realize that from day one, from the first second, it is work. So I think that people should really stop the whole, fanfare around the preparation, for wedding, because what we see around today is just people preparing for the wedding, not the marriage itself, right? Marriage is for kingdom, for duty. Right? Duty, when you think of duty, you know that if you are in the army, wherever they send you is where you're going. You don't have an opinion. Like, your opinion becomes inconsequential at that point, right? Because what is important for the kingdom, or the realm you represent, becomes or supersedes whatever you think, and that is the sense of duty. And if you think in that way, you will stop thinking about the wedding, the clothes, the dress, and all of those things. You will think about all the, because anyway, we'll come to that. But if people could just for a second stop thinking about all the fanfare that comes with the wedding. Everybody wants to trend. You want your wedding to trend more than every other person's own, but the moment you are done trending, somebody else will trend the next week.
I tell you.
So that should already make people stop thinking about the whole fanfare around it and focus more on the work that is, ahead.
Thank you so much. That was so profound. Thank you so much, Daniel and Adesola. And I'm coming to you, my single lady. Okay, so Sarah, this question is for you and Damilola. Do you think there's such a thing as too spiritual when dating someone? Like, should they really speak in tongues before saying I love you to you? Oh my God.
Well, I really do not believe that they need to speak in tongues before we get into a relationship, because as much as important as that is, I don't think it would sustain marriage. That's not the priority in the Bible. All right, will speaking in tongues make us love each other better? Will it make us work together? Will tongue keep us for long, So I feel like a lot of people go to church these days even to prove a point to people, and we don't really have spiritual spouses anymore, spiritual people. So I don't think it's important if the person has the fear of God. You know, the Bible is the standard. If the person lives by the standard of the Bible, expresses the fruit of his spirit, I think that's more than enough. You know, so yeah, that's basically it for me.
So I mean, she said quite some interesting things. I think there's nothing such as being too spiritual. I think the real issue, you know, around, you know, people saying maybe somebody is too spiritual is that perhaps there are other areas that are not well developed. So it feels like the person is not expressing themselves well. So it's not a case of being spiritual. It's more like either they are not able to articulate how they feel. And that's more a thing of mental or emotional growth. So I don't think, you know, so you don't need to speak in tongues. So if you are seeing somebody who maybe is not expressing themselves as they ought to, you probably would think about the emotional side of things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So I want to say something about the too spiritual that probably I'm trying to say, you know, because we know we have some people in a relationship whereby you can't even hug Sarah. You can't even hold her hands outside. Do you understand? And the truth is, Sarah wants you to hold her outside. Do you understand? So that's that aspect I'm trying to say. So there are so many people like that they are too spiritual. Like I will still see it as too spiritual. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah. Okay.
I feel like if anybody does that, I feel like they are hypocrites. Because if you can hold your friend in public, why can't you hold the person you're in a relationship with? You know, if you can touch your friend like that, if you can, you know, we express ourselves with our friends sometimes in ways that we don't even think about. I can touch my friend like 100 times if I'm talking. You know, so if I'm in a relationship with somebody, what makes it different? We're friends anyway. So I feel like they're hypocrites. If anybody does that, that's for me.
Thank you very much, my amazing Sarah and my bro. Thank you. So I'm coming back to you, my lovely couple. Okay, so this question is for you. How do you keep the spark alive when both of you are exhausted and you just want to sleep?
As I said, you just sleep sometimes. but it's all about intentionality. Because there are times where you come back from work and you're tired, and your spouse needs you for some other wifely duties, or your wife needs you for some other, husband duties, and you're tired. I don't think men are actually ever tired.
I tell you, they are not.
No matter how tired they are, they want to get me. Yes. But the important thing is to be very intentional about creating time for each other. Yeah. I mean, if you're tired, there are times I'm tired, and it could just be me. Just speaking together, talking together, and gisting, and that will just remove sleep from my eyes, and then from conversations, that's how the rest is this. They say it's history. Yeah, so it's about intentionality. So that's very important.
Thank you.
To keep the spark going.
Yeah.
The way you looked at him, I don't know.
Well, you answered the question already. How do you keep the spark alive when you're tired? When you're tired, tiredness is biology, right? It's human, part of the human experience. All right, you need to sleep. You sleep. All right. I think that to a very large extent, there is a thing about how we have been cultured, all right, particularly the climate where we're from, to suggest that regardless of what the situation is, you would always have to be, particularly the women, you will always have to be available whenever and then the men also just go about just, commanding and, calling shots whenever there is an attention, you call for it. But again, this is 2025 and we're coming to be more exposed, into the reality of our day. We now live in the UK, and the climate here, everybody is as busy as every other person, and the weather here, I still tell people that I don't understand the whole weather for two thing, because the weather here, we want to keep you to yourself in the first place. Like you just want to be in your own corner, and even though it's so cold, but the whole idea, like you said, is intentionality. It can be, you have to understand, because you are in the situation, you are in the moment, you know what the other person is, what the other person's day and activities are like. You can't expect things to be the same every other night. Sometimes you just sleep with all the gra-gra that is doing you roll into the bed and just sleep. It's not person will get strength. Now go enjoy moment, all right. So that's part of the intentionality, understanding that it's not about what has been painted. Sometimes you just need to review yourself, just calm down and sleep. It's not that deep.
Thank you very much. And I agree with Daniel and Adesola, because to the glory of God, so I've been married for 7 years, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were actually talking about something like this, and it's actually about being intentional and understanding yourselves. When you're tired, you don't have to do before that. Understanding your partner, and so that's it about that. I'm coming to my single brother and sister here now. They're single for the Lord. Hallelujah. So the next question is, what's the most random reason you've ever rejected someone, and do you regret it now? Let me rephrase the question so you can think about it, because Damlala said,
Back to my archives.
Oh my God, I'm loving this. What's the most random reason you've ever rejected someone, and do you regret it now? So do we start from Sarah or Damilola?
Wow. Because I said something about archives. Wow, okay. So I don't know whether this is random. I'll allow you guys to be the judge of it. But it was the way I heard her speak. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the way I heard her speak,
it's a lot.
Because I was like just observing that. Wow, that's a lot. She was pretty much just giving it to people, she's always giving it to people. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it seems like there's nobody that will not collect with this kind of person. So so that's one of the things. I mean, that kind of just made me just say, nah, I don't think so. And she I think she made the move.
You ran.
But I said no. I've seen enough to decide. I don't need to know you more. And then do I regret? No, I don't regret. I think it was one of the best decisions of my life, because as I got to know her, I realized that what she portrayed was what she really was. So so I was glad I made that decision quickly and moved on.
Thank you, Damila.
Thank you. For me, I think it's mouth odor.
Oh.
And mouth odor, and sometimes thought process. There's a way you can be attracted to somebody, and the moment they speak, they just become ugly to you. So it just puts you off.
Jesus.
It just puts you off.
I'm just imagining that.
So that's just it for me.
And do you regret it?
No.
So do you think you could have helped the
No, I don't even want to try.
mouth spray?
Oh wow, imagine. Mouth odor. This next question is actually for you guys. Okay, so what's the one thing about your spouse? What's the one thing about Daniel that you didn't see coming before marriage, but you love? Okay.
I'll just choose one.
No, I'll repeat the question. What's the one thing about Daniel that you didn't see before coming into marriage, but you love now? You now love that one thing that you didn't see before coming.
The one thing that I didn't see before marriage that I love.
Or the one you don't love.
Or the one I don't love. Let me not say the one I don't love. Okay, so when we were still dating, I used to just have that perception that my husband is so nice and everything.
Can you imagine?
But my husband is the kind of person that he speaks his mind. Like, let me just give an example. You know how people will say men normally that if you ask oh, am I fat? That your husband will say, no, our baby looks so good. My husband will tell you, we get mirror for us, now go and look at it. Why are you asking me questions? You understand? That's how my husband is again. So I just, as a woman, I just always want someone to massage your emotions sometimes. My husband is not the kind of person that does that. So that's something that I did not expect. Because as we were dating, it was still always, you know how men are just always trying to impress you and...
Trial period.
Like you said, trial period.
Trial period
but after marriage, all those ones, it stops. It was just always like, and I mean it's good because it is honest, but at the same time, you just have to be able to phrase something some way and say things with love. No, you have to. No, you can still take a lesson, but still be nice to someone when you are saying it.
Funny, are you saying I'm not nice? I'm wondering the confusion is here. So is it
No, I'm just saying that it's the way. It can be the way something is said.
What is one thing she used to? She stresses me a lot now. She did used to be stressful. So again, and because I say my mind a lot, I also expect people to be that vocal when I'm your friend, when I'm around you. I don't expect people to forget diplomacy. We are not in government. I like to be open to people. If you're in my circle, one thing you should know about me is that I can be that, and that's niceness. That's the best of niceness as far as I'm concerned. Because if I can't tell you the truth, then what are we doing? All right. So she used to be okay with me talking like this and being like this. It's just that she was in love. All right. She was in love. And then now that we're married, you want me to stop being the person I am. You want me to now begin to massage. And the truth is, I have learned people don't a lot. And that's one. Two, I've always been a public person. Right, she has always been a private person. Right, now she wants me to be more of a private person than a public. Every time I want to go out, it used to be questions. So where are you going? So you met me in public. Let me be in public.
Okay, so Sarah, what's your honest take? Would you prefer a big wedding or a big bank account?
Okay, so I'm really indifferent. But I feel like, from the weddings I've attended in recent times, I feel like weddings are, aside from you getting married, it's also an opportunity for people to come together and enjoy themselves. And sometimes it's therapeutic for people, people that have not gone out in a very long time. All right, so for the sake of the kind of community I have, I think I would like a big wedding. Maybe not a big wedding, maybe, but then of course big bank accounts because we need to sustain our marriage. So we need money after the wedding and all of that. So yeah, collaboration.
Well, for me, I think I would say I'd rather have a big bank account because. Because I'm thinking the 70 years that we can enjoy life together, and also I'm not one to have, I've had a lot of, I think I've been involved in so many big weddings and I got stressed out at some points. So I would rather have an intimate wedding where it's just the people, okay, everybody matters, but it's just the few people that need to be there. And then we can now tour the world with the big bank accounts, Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, definitely a big bank account.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So I'm coming back to the Okezoes now. I think this is almost like the second to the last question. So this question is, does God choose our spouse for us? We know God has given us the gift of will to make choices. Is it different when it comes to marriage? Let him answer first, please.
No, God doesn't choose spouse. I have not seen a place in the Bible, all my years of reading the Bible from book, cover to cover, where God, chose spouse for anybody. Right? It has always been people, including Adam. the very first man, right? God gave him many options until the point where he now made woman. If at that point he would have, if he had named Eve and moved on with his life, God would have looked for another option for him. But he was the one that saw Eve and was like, yes, this is it, right? So it's the same thing across board. You will hear people sometimes, and it comes back to what you said earlier about, over spiritual, where people say, God told me. Can God tell you this person could be your wife? Yes, God can tell you this person, but will God make the move for you? No. It's your responsibility. God gave you will, and it's your full responsibility to both for the men and the women, because in our climb, women do not make the move, but when the man comes, you have a responsibility to choose. So because marriage is actually a long thing, a long process of living with your choices. So every day when something happens and you want to break bottle, remember, I may choose this person. So it's your choice. God never comes to tell you, bring the two of you together and then do all this, or you're married. No, that's not the God we know. It's your choice just to choose. You can have metrics. God can show you this person in his will can go on that journey with you. You can decide that, no, God, I respect your, what you have said, because again, you can only see what is in front of you. You can't see tomorrow. Yeah. But God can present somebody to you and you say no. God will move on. He won't force you. And Nollywood will make us feel like you will suffer for making that. Yes, you could suffer, but the truth is you might not suffer. Somebody else, God will always bring somebody else, because in God's plan, it's not just one person that can go on life's journey with you. What if the person that he presented to you today died the next day? Will you now say you will not marry again? So it's your choice to choose every time.
Yeah, God always gives us different options, so it's left for us to choose. For example, before I met my husband, I already heard his name and everything, but it was still left to me to choose. Yeah. And then the thing about a woman making the first step, at least I made it known to him. I made the move. I made it known to him that I was interested. So it was left to him to.
Not like she said it.
I didn't say it, but with my actions, you would know. Exactly.
If I did not trust
thank you. Yeah, exactly. So that's it's a choice. God has given us free will, so it's left for us to choose. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I really love your responses. I can remember that time when my husband. So before my husband asked me out, so I already I got the confirmation. So I was the first person to got the confirmation, but I got confirmation. Man, no ask me out. So I was not like Jesus. Why ask me out now? So I thank God I didn't really wait for too long, because at the end of the day it came true. But I was just thinking what if this man didn't talk? How would I have gone? But I love your confidence. At least you were able to, one way or the other.
You don't start a conversation. You don't put yourself out there. Know that I'm interested in being with you and speaking to you.
My single sister and brother, are you there? Are you taking notes? I really love that. Thank you so much. So really, you can make the move on my single sister. Yeah, you understand the way she explained it. Not as if you are going to push yourself at the brother, but there's a way you can always start a conversation. Yeah. So one more question for you, Sarah and Tomiwa. What was your worst first date experience, and what did it teach you? First date, too, don't forget that brother.
Starts this time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's very
First date experience. Worst.
That boys never show you.
You never stay your whites.
Never stay your whites.
I don't have a worst date record.
Really?
No, I don't have any.
You've met great men then.
No, absolutely, I have. I don't think so.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I do, and
Oh my God.
and contrary to what people would think, I'm not going to blame the other person. It was me, I think it was in uni, something around my uni time. So one of my friends kind of planned a double date. So I had not met the lady before. So while we met for a movie date, they were having a good time, but myself and the friends who were not having a good time. So I think it was a bit of I didn't sense an interest from her, so she just locked up. I also was not on my best behavior that day, so it was quite awkward. So we just sat beside each other and we just focused on the movie, like we're not beside here. So I guess that's probably the worst one I've had. And wherever she is, it's not your fault, it's me.
Wow. Wow, that's nice. To you now. So, how do you politely tell your partner their Valentine's gift is horrible?
Wow.
Without ruining the day?
I need to note this.
Okay.
How do you tell your partner their Valentine's gift is really horrible without ruining the day? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for my husband, he will just tell you that this gift, I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. And I've been with him for a long time, so I've gone to know the kind of person. So I don't take things personal again. The years where I used to take things personal has passed. I've already outgrown it. I'm used to him. But for me, I won't feel comfortable just saying I don't like it because I won't want someone to do that to me. Do you understand? So for him, I mean, there's always a way to phrase stuff in a nice way. You can't say like it could just be a joke that babe, wait till you buy for me now, just to know make sense. It's always but if you tell the person like in a funny joking manner and you guys are just laughing about it, then that's fine. That's the best way to tell them you don't like something. Yeah, in a nice and funny way, jokingly. Yeah.
That's how I say it. That's how I say it. Very, very nice and funny way. Like, wow, I like the thoughtfulness that came into this. But what were you thinking?
You see, what's that word? What's that the word you use?
See, how can you not be sarcastic? When I see people who don't like sarcasm in this life, how do you survive?
Honestly.
Like, that's the only thing I've been bored about since being in the UK, right? Because you can't just be sarcastic with people easily. Like, how can you not be sarcastic? Like, you have to be able to enjoy sarcasm, and that's it. I can tell you as if what listen, but I need to understand your thought process when you decided to choose. I just want to know so that we can solve that problem now. It can be so it doesn't happen again, right? Walk me through your thought process. You now explain it, I'll be like, wow. See, the mind that can think about this kind of thing can destroy destiny. Don't be thinking this direction again. Look this way, look that way. But we have to be sarcastic, we have to be funny, we have to be. Mostly tell them. It is better you tell them than sometimes what people do is that they hold grudges for something they didn't like without communicating it.
Okay, so this last question for you guys. So how are you spending your Valentine this year? Oh, yes, that's the last question. How are you spending your Valentine? Yeah, Valentine?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm clueless. I think I'll just be in bed watching movies, praying to God, and trusting God that the next Valentine will be better.
Oh yes.
Well, I think for me it's still open. I'm largely also spontaneous sometimes, so I mean something can just come up and we'll roll with it, and something will definitely come up.
So this question is still coming back to you. Sorry, I'm rounding up now. So, are you okay? Let me go with Adetomiwa first. So, Adetomiwa, please, are you single and searching, or are you engaged, or are you? Yeah.
Situationship.
Are you?
Or is it complicated?
Yes, because we never can tell. Oh, we don't know who is watching, who is listening. That sister might be interested.
Oh yes, that's why as I'm saying, 14, 10. So yeah, at the moment I'm single, but actively searching.
Wow, actively
searching.
Babes, where are you?
So anything can happen soon,
Wow, lovely. Yeah.
I'm single and satisfied.
Satisfied with the
Single and satisfied.
my baby. Okay, so this last question for you guys. My question is, how do you know if this person is the right person? So when you met her and when you met him, how did you know that he was the right person and you are the right person?
For you to know someone's the right person, for me, I know everyone is different. They all have different. Some people want stuff that can answer them. But that was not what I was looking for. There are some qualities I was looking for in a man that I believed be able to, be my husband. I mean, the first thing was that be a child of God. Yes, and it will have the fruits of the Spirit. Because I think people always misinterpret and make it seem like it's the fruits of the Spirit, but it's just one fruit. So when you have that fruit, you have the love, joy, you have everything else together. I mean, as a Christian, I know everyone is in different stages of their life, different levels of Christianity, and some people may not be able to get to that stage where they're expressing, the fruits of the Spirit. But I mean, that was something I was particular about, because some people who can say they are Christians, some people can preach, they know the word, but the fruit of the Spirit, they don't really have it. They don't have that. So
it's true.
So I was very particular about noticing those things, and I heard a lot of good things said about him from friends. So many good things were said about him. So many people tell me, you are so lucky, this and that. So many nice things were said. So I mean,
that's nice.
Those were the things I was looking forward to, and most importantly, God's purpose and what God has shown me that we're going to do together.
Sorry. I want to ask you. You said you heard his name.
Yeah, I heard his name.
How did you hear his name?
I was praying. I was just praying one time, and then I think I was streaming Wolfbeck at the time.
Right.
Yes, and then I was just praying. I was praying about something. Like I was going through a process where I was like in a fasting and praying season. I was praying consistently, and I don't even know. I wasn't even looking for a man at that point. I wasn't looking for, because I was trying to let me just say that I was looking for a man at that point. But the name just came to me. I wrote it down. All I knew was that name had to. It's not as if God said this is your husband. I didn't hear a word that said this is your husband. I just wrote the name down, and I felt in my spirit that name meant a new family for me. And God directed me to the church that I was, because I had like a burden to change the church I was going to at that time, because I wasn't really. I think my time there had already ended, and God wanted me to, go to the new. That's the church I go to, the new. And God directed me to that place. And I mean, it was a fantastic service. I enjoyed everything. The word, worship, everything was great. And I was just about to leave. And I just saw this man. I'd seen him before, because I'd visited the church a couple of times. My friend invited me. And then we just went to the point where we were just talking. And then he told me his name. And I just started laughing. Yeah. But at the same time, even though I heard his name, if I saw like some qualities that I was questioning, I wouldn't have gone forward. So
not have been my own.
Exactly. maybe it's not just Daniel. You understand? But I mean, everything was just working out together for the will of God from everything I was sensing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was how I made the decision.
Thank you.
What was the question again? How do you know the right person for you?
How did you know?
Did I know she was the right person? I think again it boils down to the season where you are as a person. When we met, like you said, I wasn't looking at that. Like I was at that point where I wasn't looking. I just wasn't looking. I was just in service this day. I served with different teams, and I remember it was political Sunday. It was in January. We were preparing for the next election, so we were galvanizing people to go get their PVC back in Lagos at the time. And so the church, we started this group that had a political interest, and so we were just we set up a stand at the back, and I was the person who was driving people to go register. So I was literally walking up to people, do you have PVC? No, okay, just go there now, like we'll block you. And then she comes and says hello. She came to ask me about the political group, and then from the conversation political group we got to introduce ourselves. Interestingly, her last name rang a bell, because I know someone, I have a friend who bears the last name. I'm like, do you know this person? Yeah, that's her uncle. Oh, really? And then that was our conversation, and we exchanged numbers for the political, purpose, and later, it was just from a conversation. We're just talking, one day, and I have been the one who, if you know God, you just don't want to miss seasons. right? Because God will bring you through several seasons. You just be attentive. And the truth is, the best of us have missed some seasons in our lives. And so this time, we're just having a conversation, and interestingly, I became interested in someone that I was looking forward to. And the day I was going to ask the lady out, at least for a date, or at least to have a conversation, was the day she told me she was moving to the UK. Was it she told me she was moving to the UK, and thank God I didn't invest, because I wasn't the type who will invest any kind of emotion or anything before we'll go talk first. Like, I must hear your thought process, like, because that's extremely important to me. I must know how you think on a default before I even pray about you. And that's a format I saw from the Bible. We Christians, they tell us to pray first. When you see somebody, go and pray first. Ask God if this is the person before you talk to the person. What if you now talk to the person and you now hear that the person has mouth odor? What will you now do? Yeah. What will you now do? So you should get to know the person first. If the person satisfies, because the truth is God. I'm talking too much. The truth is God gave us the 5 senses as a guide. Right? Because he knows it's not everybody that will accept Jesus in this lifetime. Right? But you still need the 5 senses to be able to navigate life. The 6th sense is the Holy Spirit. Right? But the 5 senses should guide you first, then you invite the Holy Spirit. Say, what do you think? All right, and that's what I did. Had the conversation, observed the key things that was important to me. Of course, satisfy the 80. I was like, why not? And prayed about it, and I didn't feel any, the urge not to move ahead. And I asked her, and she said yes. And then here we are, almost 3 years later.
Wow. So, and we've come to the end of this beautiful, romantic, lovely talk show. I want to say a very big thank you to my amazing couple here. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Adesola. Thank you, Sarah, Adetomiwa, Damilola. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Okay, if you've not subscribed to this channel, subscribe now, like this video, and share to your friends and family. I'm sure you have learned 1 or 2 things from these amazing people today. Until we see you next time, just let's keep the fire burning. One love.